So you said that a customer has run a panel at 300 feet long. What kind of structure takes a panel like that?
A great big one.
Welcome back to another Q&A Monday here on the Metal Roofing Channel. As always, I'm Thad Barnett with Sheffield Metals. I've got Tom Southerland from Sheffield back on the show with me, and calling in, I've got Tom Laird and Ron Schell from New Tech Machinery, because today we are talking all about portable roll forming. So thanks for being on the show with me today, guys. I really appreciate it.
Great to be here.
Good to be here.
So how about we start, Ron and Tom, since this is your first time being on the show, I'm going to have you start by telling us a little bit about your personal experience in the industry.
Sure, I'll go first. This is Tom Laird. I'm the National Sales Manager at New Tech Machinery. I've been with the company since October of 2005, so I've been in the portable roll forming business now for about 12 and a half years, and I've watched the industry, the ups and downs with our economy and the ups and downs in the industry over the last 12 and a half years, and right now it's kind of a golden time for us, so very busy.
Okay, Ron?
Ron Schell here, Service Manager. Been here 25 years. Was involved in all of the machinery that's here, design work. Also worked prior to this for about 20 years in this industry. So I probably have 40 plus years in this industry alone. Stuck with New Tech. It's been a great journey here. I think we make some of the finest equipment out there. So.
Great. So as I mentioned today, we're talking about roll forming and especially portable roll forming. So first, tell me about the process used to create panels for metal roofing, metal siding, gutters. What is that process like? How does it work?
Actually, it's a portable. We make, like we said, we make portable equipment that you can actually drive right to the job site. You would actually have coil with you. Set up the machine. For setting up the machine, it takes about 15, 20 minutes, maybe half hour maximum, to set up the machine itself, to run out tables, get the coil fed into the machine and produce materials. You're actually able to use a computer program linked and control computer, where you can actually plug in lengths and run out the panels for the roof. Now, in some cases, they'll actually hoist the machine right up to the roof eave so they can actually shoot panels onto the roof. That's one of the big advantages of our equipment.
And just to add to that, the advantages of that portable roll forming is that you're going to be able to get that metal roofing on that roof when you're ready to do it, as opposed to waiting for a factory panel supplier.
So what is that in-factory roll forming like, or in-plant roll forming?
Well, typically in-plant roll formers are going to be much larger roll formers that it wouldn't be economical, or it wouldn't be feasible to take any of those type of machines to a job site. They're typically going to be much faster machines when they're running in the factory, and they'll be versatile as well. They'll have multiple profiles that they can run through those machines. However, the setup time, maintenance time is going to be much longer. Much longer process with an implant machine than with a portable machine.
Yeah, and just to elaborate on that just a bit more, if you were to do a changeover from one profile to another in our machine, which is the portable style, you're spending about 45 minutes panel to panel. If you do an implant machine, you're probably half a day, at least, minimum, to do a changeover, because they are very large machines. You're actually inside these machines changing out rollers and stuff. So very large, most of them.
Do portable roll formers and in-plant roll formers, do they create the same types of panels, or are there some panels that are specific to either type?
There are some that are specific to either type, but for the most part, all the panels that we can produce in our machine, you can also produce in a factory machine or an implant machine. They also make some panels that are very large for like silos and stuff like that. So they do some big stuff.
So I'm going to go up to Tom Southerland here. So Tom, tell me a little bit about how New Tech's machines, and specifically portable roll formers, fit in with Sheffield.
Well, that's what our whole business is based on. We supply the coil that goes into the machines. We'll take the large coils and have them coated at various paint lines around the country and bring them into our facilities and split them down. Typically on a portable roll former, you can't handle more than like a 2,000 pound coil. Most of our coils are range anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000 pounds. And typically when you take these, if you're going to take this out on a job site, the new techs have 2 payoffs on them, or two rollers, and so you can carry 2 coils out to the job site with you, already on the spools, and run from there. Standing seam material is typically a more narrow coil than what they use for the bigger roll formers, like the 5V and 7.2 reels and traditional panels like that. So it's more architectural.
Okay. So what's you said that some of the portable roll forming machines can have 2 coils. What's the advantage of having 2 coils on a machine?
Well, you don't have as much setup time on it. If you get 2, it's easy changeover. You don't have to go in and re-spool another coil that's set and ready to go. You can also, that allows you to carry more to the job site. The thing about having a portable roll former, is that you control your own, pretty much control your own destiny. You can buy from various, hopefully you would buy from Sheffield, but you can buy from various coil suppliers and vendors out there, and you're not locked in on any particular color or manufacturer.
And I think one of the things that really sticks out with the portable versus implant, you could drive our machine on the side of a mountain and produce panels with it. If you're buying from a factory, they are actually having to run your job, schedule it into their system, run your job, put it on a truck and ship it to you. And hopefully it doesn't get damaged by the time it gets there. And hopefully every piece you need is there. If it isn't, now you're waiting for them to do another setup, and there's probably another fee for that to get the rest of the panels you need. The problem with that is you can't bill that job out until it's finished. So they actually hold your destiny in their hands by doing that. So.
Well, and another factor that hasn't been mentioned yet either is what Ron had just mentioned about the being able to produce a panel anywhere that you can take our machine, is the fact that as long as you've got coil on that machine, you can run a panel as long as you want. Whereas with a factory produced panel, they're going to be limited to say a 48, 50 foot panel that they can ship. Otherwise, you're going to be lapping over the panels. Mm-hmm. Where we've had customers run panels 300 feet long.
What kind of structure takes a panel like that?
A great big one.
Usually large industrial warehouses.
Yeah.
We've seen it more than once down in Central and South America, where they really do super long runs of panels.
It would be impossible to do that with anything but a portable roll former, because the only way to run a panel that length and be able to handle it is you're going to have to shoot it up on the roof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no way to lift a panel like that and get it up there.
Right.
Exactly.
And when you do that, also, if you're not overlapping, you also just eliminate the risk of having a leak at the point where you have to overlap it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fewer seams.
And I think another consideration that we haven't mentioned yet is transportation-wise, you can fit way more material in a truck that's in a coil rather than pre-manufactured panels.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very good point.
And it ships a lot of air with the panels.
Yep. Yeah.
And beside the fact of the freight damage that we talked about earlier, what happens if the panel manufacturer shorted you by an inch on each panel? We've heard of that before. One of the main driving forces that puts people into looking at portable roll formers is the fact that they've been screwed by the in-factory panel suppliers. Yeah. The fact that they've had to wait, they didn't get what they wanted, they got the wrong color, the wrong length. So there are a number of advantages to having your own portable roll former for sure.
Yeah, a lot of times plans change on a building too. I mean, the building plans might call for this. You get out there to the building and they've added to the plan or shrunk a run or something like that. If you had ordered that from a building manufacturer, you'd have panels out there that didn't fit your project. This way you can just shorten your length.
What are some other things that we haven't talked about yet?
Well, I think the fact that portable machine of ours, that SSQ machine, is capable of doing 15 different profiles. In order for, and you could actually do that in a day. You darn near do all of those in one day. If you wanted to run a panel of each one, try to get that out of a factory panel. It's never going to happen. I mean, so whatever you need, if you have the tooling, or even if you don't, you have the ability to change that in a day's time and be on a different job and running that profile. If you don't have the profile, you can always purchase it because it's available. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a huge advantage over being locked into a single panel and single lengths. I mean, 53-foot long panels. You'd be locked into the maximum. So I think it opens up a whole new world. Plus, the fact that you can actually shoot those panels up on a roof is huge. When you get factory delivered panels in a crate, now you have to get them up to the roof. So now you have that problem as well.
You've also got the advantage. I know we're distinguishing between implant and portable roll formers, but a lot of people use their portable roll formers at their shops to run their panels, and they'll run panels for other people without taking it out to the job site.
Right.
With the U-Tech, you have the advantage of having two different sources for your power. You can either use electric or gas. So if you run an in-house, you can use electric, and if you're running out in the field, then you can use your gas.
So we've talked a lot about advantages of portable roll forming. What kind of advantages are there with implant? When is that a good choice?
Well, basically an implant machine, you don't have to adjust it quite as much as you may on a portable roll former that just bounced across the road. The U-Tech is one of the best ones out there for holding their squareness and all when you get it out on the road. Still got to watch the adjustments on it. If you keep it in-house and don't jostle it around, then you don't have as much to fool with as far as adjustments and all to the machinery. Also, in-house, you have, like I say, the weather. You don't have to worry about it really being raining or cold or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Implant machines will typically be much faster than portable machines. They're designed that way. And Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe most implant machines are going to be a pre-cut type of machine.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have cleaner edges probably on a factory panel machine versus a portable roll former. But again, it's a choice for the contractor to make on how they want to control their destiny as a contractor.
Yeah, and I think that's the big difference. If you don't want to worry about having a crew to run panels and have a machine that you're going to do maintenance on, you give up control. If you switch over to buying panels, you don't have the control that you do when you have a portable machine. So, and I'm sure that, the implant machine works for some people because they do not want to do the portable one, but they all have their advantages and disadvantages.
Right. Well, one of the beauties of portable roll forming that we've certainly heard a lot about in the last several years is chop and drop, where folks that purchase a portable machine will supply panels to their competitors, because their competitors will know about the equipment and will have jobs that they'll require panels for. And in lieu of buying a factory-produced panel, they'll go to a lot of these competitive contractors that have machines and ask them to roll the projects for them.
Right on the job site.
So let's talk about the maintenance of a portable roll forming machine. What does that maintenance entail?
Well, you have chains that you have to keep tension. About once a year, you probably have to go through a machine and just retension everything and just make sure everything is tight, all the nuts and bolts are tight. Lubrication is important. changing hydraulic fluid and filter once a year, and probably maintaining the gasoline engine, which is changing spark plug, oil filter, oil, that type of thing. So there is a certain amount of maintenance to be done. However, I would say on average, you could do it in 3-4 hours and be done with it. So once a year, 3-4 hours, not a bad deal.
Right.
And I think the main thing that we typically hear about from a sales standpoint is keeping your shear blades properly lubricated. That's half of the calls that we get from people is their cuts are getting a little more jagged, their shear blades aren't working properly, and it's a lot of times it's due to the fact that they're not keeping those blades properly lubricated.
The thing about it is, I've seen a lot of portable roll formers out there, and it amazes me when I walk up on a job site or walk into a customer, he'll have his machine out under a shed, or a lot of times it's not even under a shed, it's sitting out there in the elements. And I mean, it could be a 25 or 30-year-old machine, and they fire that thing up and start running panels. There's rust all over this thing. The tires are flat on it, but it's still running out a good panel, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, they do have some longevity, that's for sure. I've seen that here as well. Sometimes I wonder if these guys weren't dragging the machine off the trailer behind their truck, because that's what it looks like. It's just beat up, So maintenance is a huge part of these machines, but there's not a lot of that's done out there for a lot of these folks. So,
I believe there is a certain level of responsibility if you do decide to go the portable route. Either you're going to be mechanically inclined yourself, or you're going to have someone on your crew that is. Because if you're buying the machine and you're not mechanically inclined, or you don't have anyone on your staff that is, you're going to struggle. You're going to have more problems than the typical roll form.
So, and that's just due to your own typical maintenance that you have to accomplish.
Yeah, maintenance, and also along with that are the changeovers. I mean, you got to know the difference between a screwdriver and a crescent wrench to be able to do that. So if you don't know that, and there are people out there that don't know those type of things, they do, like Tom said, they do struggle with that.
Okay.
At Sheffield, if you buy one of the new tech machines through us, we offer free training on the machine.
Okay.
Have someone go out to your shop and train all your people on how to use the machine, how to set it up, how to change the tooling, and also be there, for follow-up maintenance and anything. And I know with Ron, I mean, I have customers all day that talk about calling in to New Tech to get advice on this and that and what's running. So you're not left out there, to fend for yourself. We back it up.
That's very true. Yeah.
One call away.
Yeah, and I think that would give someone a lot of peace of mind who, might be concerned about that consideration.
Yeah, we have a staff here of now we've increased. We have probably 4 techs here now that can actually answer calls and help people over the phone. And we do that every day. So
okay.
The portable roll formers have advanced so much since their inception that you can get a quality, just as good a quality, if not better in a lot of cases, of a profile or a paddle and consistency as you can from any in-house in-plant roll former. Like I say, a lot of the competition, the big roll names out there, are using new tech equipment in their warehouses to produce these paddles.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. I was just going to interject that as well, that, we often see specifications where they mention a factory supplied panel, yet it's funny that a lot of those factory suppliers use our equipment in their factory as well.
Yeah.
Probably due to easier changeovers, being able to fill in on quick jobs that they need to take care of a customer where maybe they had a missed shipment or something. So
and produce panels that are as good as their in-plant machines.
It's a whole lot more economical to buy a new tech machine than it is one of these 30-foot behemoth to roll.
Absolutely. Yeah, a fraction of the price. Yep.
Well, this has been a really great conversation, and I appreciate everyone jumping in. Big thanks to Ron Schell and Tom Laird from New Tech Machinery, as well as Tom Southerland from Sheffield Metals. Subscribe to the Metal Roofing channel to stay up to date. We post every Monday and Wednesday. Comment with any questions you'd like answered on future Q&A Mondays. Anything else, check us out at sheffieldmetals.com, and I will catch you next time.